You know, today, before I decided to wake up, I was sitting in my bed and I was just sitting alone with my thoughts. You know, I was just taking a bunch of deep breaths, and I realized something more than before. What was coming to my mind, you know, was not only all of like some of my repressed desires, but also, you know, a lot of people that were a part of my past, people that I cut off a lot, long time ago. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. And you?
Doing good. Yeah. Just thinking about a lot of people that were in my past, people that I've cut off. You know, recently, might I add, like within the last 6 months. People that just don't align with the current energy that I am, you know, exuding. And, you know, it really put into perspective for me again, just, you know, how far it is I've come. I used to let people take advantage of me a lot, like my energy. And it would be in multiple ways. For one thing, I would describe myself as like a giver. Like I tend to give a lot of energy towards people that I care about, right? But I would never put any of that energy towards myself. And or I was never receiving that energy back. You know, I was in very non-reciprocal relationships with people where I would give a lot more than they could ever give / would ever give, you know. Like, for instance, you know, I would go out of my way to show up for people, go out of my way to do things for people, and I would never get it back, right? You know, energy. It's funny I'm talking about this, right? Because I'm watching a show right now about alchemy, and how it's like an equivalent. You need an equivalent exchange in order to do anything, right? I was not in any equivalent exchanges, right? And because of that, you know, it kept draining on me. It kept draining on me a lot. And I also didn't have as much self-respect, because I would just let this keep happening. Because I gaslit myself into thinking that, you know, like, oh, you know, this is just how it's meant to be, you know. But no, it didn't have to be that way, right? And that's when I was like, you know what? As soon as I started going more and more on this journey, like, you know, I need to cut off a lot of people who just aren't giving me the energy that I'm putting into them, right? Anyways, I was thinking about that this morning, and just in reflection of how far I've come. Because here's the thing, right? I don't hold any animosity towards people. I don't hold hatred or animosity. Right? I don't think it benefits me to hate on anyone, right? And like actually hate them. Like, you could like dislike someone for what they stand for, or, you know, dislike what people, like some people are doing. But I don't actually like hate them, right? Like, I'm not gonna go out of my way and say, oh, I hate you, right? That's a very strong word. I was always told that was a very strong word, and I agree, it's strong. To say that you like hate someone, that is very strong. So they had to have either done something really, really messed up, or, you know, you just are a hateful person, right? But I'm not a hateful person, like I was saying. And so I don't hold animosity towards people who have either mistreated me intentionally or unintentionally, right? Instead, you know, I've learned to let go. learn to let go, phase out of people's lives. And I think, I've said this before, I think it's important to reflect on how far you've come, no matter where you are in your journey, right? Give yourself credit for all your mental battles that you've won, all the physical battles, spiritual battles that you've won, are going through. Give yourself credit, because if you align with this energy in any way, shape, or form, I'm willing to wager that you also don't give yourself enough credit, and you should. So I think this is where I was going with this. Just to really just talk about how far it is that you can go, and not let people take advantage of your energy. Because I used to do that all the time, like most of my life. I let people take advantage of me because I didn't have the self-respect to realize that things could change, or I didn't know, or I was like I was saying, I just thought that's how it was. But it doesn't have to be that way. You want to try to look for people who you can be in an equivalent exchange of energy with, where you give someone this amount of energy and they give it back to you in a shape or form, And I also think friendships, there's a lot of inconveniences in them. I think a good friendship, because that's what I'm mostly talking about, like my friends, they put themselves in inconvenient positions just to help each other out, right? Like an example that I'm thinking of, right? I was on my way somewhere, I was driving, and my friend had called me to ask me if I could drop him off at work. And I could have easily been like, oh, I'm already on the way somewhere, right? I'm not gonna turn back. But I was like, this person who I consider, to be a true friend, they've done a lot for me, and they put themselves in very inconvenient positions to help me out. And so I didn't see the harm in me turning back to go ahead and pick them up, right? Because it wasn't that far. It was like almost 10 minutes, to go back and then go to his place, right? Being in an equivalent exchange of energy, right? Because like I was saying, I helped them out and he's helped me out a lot. And I think it's really hard to find those kinds of people. Don't get me wrong. It's taken me my whole life to even find a couple of these kinds of people where I can exchange energy with them and I actually get it back. Whereas before, I was giving energy to people who were just taking it away from me, right? If you constantly give energy to someone and you're never getting it back in any way, shape, or form, it's gonna drain you and it's gonna drive you crazy, right? I think I've heard the term energy vampires. That's what I was surrounded by. But you don't have to be surrounded by those kinds of people. If you know that you like to give energy to people, if you like to give people more time and effort than they ever give to you, maybe consider, where you stand in that relationship. Consider where you stand. And then understand that you don't have to constantly give energy to someone who's just taking it away from you or not returning it in any way, shape, or form. Because here's the thing, right? You can't change anyone. You can't change anyone. You could try to help people. You could try to promote change. Like you could suggest things that for people to do, but you can't make anyone do anything, right? Because at the end of the day, we all have free will. We all can do whatever we want, right? Me personally, I was at a really low point in my life, and I was like, it's time to change, right? And so I looked inwards, and I just started executing the things that I knew that I needed to do in order to progress into the next level, right? You know, I just constantly try to do that. Look inward and realize what it is that I need to do in order to progress to the next level, right? I did that, right? No one made me do that, right? So yeah, you can't force anyone to change. The only person who has the ability to make you change is you, right? Only you, man. And so if someone is taking away all of your energy and you don't want it anymore, don't force them to change. Instead, just realize where you are, where you stand, and then understand that you can change that. Well, only you can. Yeah. It was a lot for me to think about this morning, you know. I haven't really thought about a lot of people that I cut off in a while, because I just don't give them as much energy as I did anymore. And like I said earlier, you know, it's no animosity. I'll never go ahead and downplay anyone. If I ever were to see them, you know, I'll talk with them. If they do something good, you know, I'll cheer them on, right? But, you know, I'm never going to give them the same time and day that I did before, because it's not worth it to me. Again, this is just my personal experience. You know, I'm still learning every day. But I figured this could resonate with someone. Resonate with someone even a little bit. Especially if you're dealing with energy vampires right now. You don't have to. But yeah, I think that's about all that I wanted to share. And enjoy the rest of this beautiful sun. The sun hasn't shown itself in a little bit. If you're seeing this, I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Make sure to take care of yourself. But the only person who can take care of you is you. And always remember, there's going to be energy vampires in your life, but you don't have to deal with them. Have a good one.